Okay, today is June 9th, 2019. As you can see, the entire front end on this truck is disassembled. And yeah, it's easy to take things apart. What's taken a lot of time is cleaning this thing. So let me just take a quick look at what we have here. You can see there's spots where there's metal where I started to grind, spots of rust, like over here. And then you see that ugly firewall. So initially I was just going to take off the front suspension, clean it up, put some new bushings, and put it all back together. I've gotten so involved in this whole cleaning process, I figure while I'm here I might as well do it fairly right. So I pretty much tried to take more things out of the way, such as the transmission, so that I can get that cross member back in there cleaned up. And I took everything off the firewall that was bulky, like that heater core, heater vent box, the brake booster or master brake cylinder, excuse me, so that I can clean up this firewall thoroughly and get some kind of we'll take this all down to not quite bare metal, but then put a sealer on it and then put like a flat black or something on it. And this frame, I wish it would focus real quick. Hold on. There we go. And this frame, similarly, get all the gunk off, the grease off, the muck off, the dirt, the grime, and then take as much as the rust I can get off of here, and then do an undercoat on it. Well, actually a rust reformer or a rust encapsulator, and then pretty much just prevent the rust from getting any worse, and then sealing it all up and putting a undercoat on it. So, having said all that, look over here at my bench, and these are the control arms. It's the lower, and that's the upper. And these things are just beyond dirty. I mean, it took me hours to clean these things. Now, hours, we're talking first with a putty knife, then hitting everything with easy off, then a pressure washer, then easy off, and then taking these guys and putting it into a electrolysis bath, which is what I set up here, and made sure I get most of the rust off that I could. And then after that, to get it to this level, I had to use a wire wheel. And in order to I use the wire wheel, I used it on an angle grinder. So similarly in this frame, although with one exception, to get the muck and the grime and all that crap off this frame and the firewall, instead of using a wire wheel, and this is after cleaning, by the way, I use I use my angle grinder, but I use this guy. Looks like a sponge, but it's as hard as a rock, and this thing seems to pretty much get all the heavy stuff, the paint, the heavy rust off, and any fine tuning that I need to do, I just revert back to the wire wheel. So, some other key points on this truck. I mean, this thing was literally, in my opinion, it was under the mud or in the mud, and as I was told, it was in the backyard for about 16 years or something like that. All this was basically undercoat, and it was preserved because this metal is really in good condition, all the way back into here even. All this is really good metal. So I had to torch this with a propane torch and then use a putty knife to scrape that off. Likewise on the driver's side over here, mean, all this is really good condition metal. I mean, there's some surface rust over there, but that's just surface rust. But down here, there's no body rot. There's not even really any. There's no surface rust at all. So I'm lucky from that perspective. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get all this grime. Oh, it's not focusing again. There we go. I've actually cleaned all this with Easy Off twice and pressure washed it. So now I'm using my angle grinder with this little grinding wheel, and I'm going to hit everything, and then I'm going to follow it up with my wire wheel, and then I'll be sealing it. So I don't want to sit here and show you me grinding stuff down, although that might be a little bit interesting for some. But it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been busy with other things, but I've also been busy doing this in between, and I just didn't feel like doing any videos. I just kind of got my hands dirty. So, you know, so far, as bad as it looked aesthetically, the metal, the condition of the metal overall, so far is, I'm happy. I mean, I couldn't get away from some of this, for example. I mean, that stuff, it's pretty typical. But all in all, the metal's in pretty good condition down there, so I'm pretty lucky. My friends are telling me, yeah, just take the cab off and, you know, do the whole cab. And, you know, next thing you know, I might as well just take everything down to bare frame, right? But you know what? I'm not here to do that. And although it kind of looks that I'm going that route, I'm just going to do this frame up to that trans cross member mount. Maybe that other mount that's right there, cross member mount. I might do that. And then from the frame on this side and this side, where it meets the cab, all the way to the front. That's what I'm going to do. And then the firewall as well. Flat black, and then probably gloss black or chassis black. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. So, I keep saying, yeah, I'm not too far away from getting this stuff all cleaned up and ground down and painted, or sealed and painted, but every time I tackle it, it seems like whatever I'm working on takes 4 or 5 times as long. But since my last video, you can see that at least there's quite a bit disassembled. And although it doesn't look like it, it's really clean. So anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching this video.